Welcome to Everything Sociology 24, and I am Odi Godwin Agbaka. In this video today, I will take our minds on a time travel to 1978, which was a moment that shaped modern day activism. This was a moment when an ordinary 50 kobo, which was Nigerian's currency at the time, ignited a nationwide protest that challenged the military rule. But first, please remember to kindly click on the like, share, and subscription button. This is the story of the 1978 Ali Must Go protest, and you see, it was a defining moment that saw students in various tertiary institutions rise up against the oppressive regime of General Olusegun Obasanjo. Their act of disobedience and defiance surely made a bold statement in Nigerian history forever. In 1978, the military junta enacted a policy change that sent shockwaves across Nigerian university. The federal military government introduced a policy which drastically increased the meal cost for university students. The hike at best was modest, which was a mere 50 kobo increase, you may say. But the daily meal cost skyrocketed from 1 naira 50 kobo to 2 naira. On the surface, this appeared to be an insignificant change, yet to the Nigerian student, it became the final straw that broke the camel's back. Enough is enough. This policy was backed by Colonel Ahmadu Ali, who was the then Federal Commissioner for Education. Later on, this name would become synonymous with student unrest. The increase, though minor, triggered a fierce wave of protests across Nigerian campuses, with students sensing an attack on their already limited resources and freedom. For those students who lived on low allowances, this small hike was viewed as a deliberate act of oppression by the Nigerian government, who was cruel, insensitive, and out of touch with the plight and realities of an average Nigerian citizen. The protest movement gained momentum thanks to the National Union of Nigerian Students, NUNS, which was led by Segun Okeowo, who was a determined and charismatic student from the University of Lagos, UNILAG. Okeowo personally understood that the 50 kobo increase was not just merely a financial issue, but it represents gross mismanagement, lack of student right, and authoritarian rule that plagued the country. The student decided to rally together, with Okeowo taking the lead and demanding that not only the reversal of the fee hike, but also he demanded for democratic freedom of expression and the improvement of living conditions for Nigerians. Gradually, students started boycotting classes, and this degenerated into a full-blown student revolt. On April 17, 1978, students from across the nation boycotted lectures and staged protests, calling for justice and accountability. Their demands were met with resistance from the government, which had already begun to deploy military forces to squash any form of dissent. When students at the University of Lagos attempted to march to Dodan Barracks, which was the heart of military power in Nigeria, they were confronted with a violent police response. This brutal response by the military government led to the tragic death of Akintunde Ojo, an architecture student who was shot by the police during the protest and later died from his wounds after being denied medical treatment. Ojo's death became the spark that ignited an inferno. Students across the country felt the anger and injustice of his death, and this movement gathered some level of momentum. It wasn't just about the 50 kobo anymore, but it was about resisting a system that silenced dissent and oppressed the youth. The protest spread rapidly like wildfire to other universities, including Ahmadu Bello University in Zaria, where violence erupted and reports emerged of soldiers killing 8 students. As the protest grew in size and became intense, the now legendary slogan, "Ali Must Go," came to be and reverberated across campuses. It wasn't just a call for the removal of Colonel Ali, it became a cry for the end of military control and restoration of democratic governance. For a couple of days, universities across Nigeria were paralyzed and academic activities were at a standstill. The government attempt to quell the uprising only proved abortive. The National Union of Nigerian Students was banned and Okeowo was expelled from the University of Lagos. But the students were far from finished. The Ali Must Go movement, though unable to reverse the meal hike, succeeded in exposing the power of student activism, and it made Nigerian youth to challenge the status quo. Despite the crackdown, the protest led to the establishment of the Mohammed Commission of Inquiry, which swooped into action and investigated events surrounding the protest. Though the Commission's findings were limited in terms of real accountability, you may say, the protest left an undeniable impact on Nigeria's political terrain till date, and student activism, of course, became a force to be reckoned with. Even after Segun Okeowo's expulsion from the University of Lagos, he continued his education at the University of Ife, now known as Obafemi Awolowo University, OAU, and he later went on to build a distinguished career in education. What a joyous and triumphant victory it was. Truly, collective action that is driven by purpose and not sentiments can propel us to seek for change. And this is one of the objectives behind this video. Thank you for watching. Remember, this is Everything Sociology 24, and my name is Odi Godwin Agbaka. Also, don't forget to subscribe to this channel.